question.
Well,
You know,
well.
if anyone could have a window into this mind,
Yeah.
like I think it would be a very messed up view. And so for us to have a peek into kind of the rhythm of how Nacho kind of lives his life is really interesting, because it's not the popular perspective. He's not afraid to go into perspectives that really challenge you as like a human and questions your moral compass. You know, he's created characters that are so flawed, yet aren't bad people. Do you understand? It's like we all try our best in life, and we all try, but there are certain things that we cannot overcome just because it's the way that we're built. Perhaps we try to grasp on too long to love, or we're easy to forget about it. Nacho has created this film especially with a perspective that isn't the popular perspective, but it's such an interesting way to look at loss and love and potential. Like Nicholas has the ability to change his entire world. What do you do with that ability?
Yeah, but I have to say something. This is something that is talking about my relationship with Madrid. Like, in my experience as a person living in Madrid, I've been Patricia, I've been Daniela. Like, I know what it is to be super excited, but having this massive imposter syndrome and trying to deal with it. Like, okay, why am I here? Maybe I need someone to say, okay, go back to your little town because you're not a filmmaker. You're not a filmmaker, okay, stop it. And I know the total absence of pleasure that he represents at the beginning of the film. So I've been in both ways. I've been in both places. So I feel like each time everybody who writes something is making a page of the diary, even if whether they know it or not. Well, I'm just trying to. I don't want to lose the idea of being confessional, but through fantasy, science fiction, and not being like autobiographical. Like you can talk about yourself and the people that is part of your life without pretending to tell the truth. Because I'm not interested in the truth, but maybe the emotional magnitude of things. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you make a movie that is made by people like 3 years ago, maybe five, maybe it was written like 5 years ago. I am haunted by the fact that movies, they never get old when they get released. They feel prescient. No, they feel like they. When you watch the movies on the release day, you never get the feeling that movies are like already like out of you understand the moda.
Out of fashion.
Yeah. You don't feel movies being out of fashion, right? If you go to the movies every weekend, but movies are made years ago. It's like the stars. It's like the light of the stars coming through. Yeah. If you're able to see the light of the star, probably the star is already dead out there. So yeah, the movie never. But having said that, the movie never represents who you are right now because you're not the same person. Probably I'm not the person who will write this thing, but I'm the person who enjoys being told. Because the movie is not only a resonance of my past experiences; it's always like bringing me back the shooting. Like for me, this is something that filmmakers don't tend to say this, but for me, movies are a document, like a documentary on those beautiful days when we were shooting. Like I enjoy the memories of being there behind the camera. I feel like if I made a film in which there's nothing like openly stupid or funny in the most even childish way, I will feel like I'm posing, like it's like I'm not, because real life is never out of comedy elements.
Like
there's
absurd.
always comedy in your life. There's no a single day in your experience in which there's no comedy.
Yeah.
So for me, comedy is part of the sincere. It's part of the sincerity. Like when I watch movies, that even the movies that I like that are completely absent of comedy, I feel that someone is just putting makeup, you know, on the movie itself. Like, okay, this movie has to feel like really serious, about serious themes. Therefore, there's no humor. In my case, I would be lying because there's always humor in real life.
Understanding sort of Nacho's mind through his kind of previous films, I knew that going into this, like, he was always going to have a perspective that was kind of shifted and different. And you know, following from your previous question, you know, life is absurd, and you either laugh about it or you cry continuously and nonstop, like nonstop. And so when I read it, it was a joy because, you know, you can make a film one note, or you can make a film which is so much more fun and explores these very dark, deep emotions and themes in a very kind of one-dimensional way. But to be able to create a world where you still get the lesson at the end of the movie in a way that you actually relate to it more, I think that is much more important. And so to be able to inject a little bit of humor to represent real life, I think he does that so well.
Oh, well, yeah, the moments that I enjoy the most, which are the most, when especially during the first dreams, when he's amazed by the VFX, like, okay, this is what, oh, look at the trash, it's a solid trash, I can step on it, like, for me it's so real that if you're going through that experience, so you recreate this ghost of your, or your lost love, but you're suddenly inside this kind of VFX thing where trash is solid, you can step on it, and there are gray clouds everywhere, and you're breaking the posters away, and you're like, look at that, this is spectacular. Like, it's like, it's at the same time, you're insulting the character, because he's not acting in this kind of, nostalgic, romantic ways. Like, okay, we are finally together again.
He's getting distracted.
He's having so much, he's getting distracted, which I think is the real thing. I mean, that is what will happen.
Yeah, imagine you had like a magic wand that you could do anything you want to do, but you know, your original goal was to like, oh, fix this relationship.
Yeah, of course.
Like, oh, well, what if I do this? And, oh, this is fun.
Yeah. And another thing that I love to say is that for me, comedy at its finest, the best kind of comedy is when comedy pops up in a place where it's not expected. Like when something really funny happens in a Lars von Trier film, like when something really, really funny happens in a place where things are not supposed to be funny, that's for me the best kind of comedy.